Hey y'all, I hope everybody's having a good night. I actually took the time earlier, pre-recorded this whole thing, and they said it was too long for me to transfer over to YouTube. So I'm just going live because I'm not going through that again. And I didn't put any advertisements out about it because I was just going to put out a video. So anyway, yeah. So I've been quiet about this situation for a while now. Katie Joy, or Without a Crystal Ball, whatever. She has been really like focusing on the Duggars a lot. And I'm going to share with you this video, parts of it, just for educational purposes. So I'm going to say that this is just for educational purposes and for critiquing. So I have the fair use and copyright claim that I'm using for that, because I want to critique this video. So it is about 5 months ago, okay? Let's just remember 5 months ago, because after this, we're going to go and we're going to observe another video, okay? That's going to prove that not only is she a liar, but she is a pot stirrer. And she also has a very antichrist type spirit, because it seems that she only goes after Christians, mainly the Duggars. She tries to say that she's an advocate for SA victims, but she literally takes all of her time to victimize them again, to dox them, like she did Jessa with Jessa's new house. Katie Joy was literally so mad because she really has no sources, as I'm fixing to prove, but that she cannot stand it if these girls actually do something productive or good with their life, or, it's like she's jealous or she wants to be a Duggar. I don't know which one it is, but it's something. Something is not right in Denmark with this girl. What are you doing? Hey, honey. Just talk to your dad. Just go back to the job. I know. Hold on one second. I'm going to play this video of her for just a second, and I'm going to remove myself to talk to my daughter a minute. And yeah, here we go.
The 16th time I've been trying to film this video, and I'm going to try to get this done on this take. So welcome back to my channel. I always think it's funny when it takes me a million times to film, but hey, it's one of those days. Listen, I have a story that I want to tell you about at the very end of this video. So stick around until the very end so I can tell you a little bit more about what I've been covering over on Facebook. It's not the Dre and Bond situation. It's something totally new that just happened to fall into my inbox this morning that I think is really important. And I would love for you guys to go check it out on my Facebook. So before we get into today's video, I want to talk to you about yesterday on my channel. I thanked all the women that watch me, and I totally forgot about all the men that watch me. So to all the guys that are watching this channel, even though you're the minority and there's way more women here, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. To my members that are male, thank you for supporting. I've got a long-term member named Kiko, and I just want to say thank you, Kiko, for all of your years of support on this channel. Welcome to everyone, and to those of you that are non-binary, thank you so much for following. Everyone is welcome here. Okay, so I'd love to talk to you about rumor that showed up in my inbox because a video was put out on another YouTube channel, and this channel has definitely put out some things that I've had to clarify in the past. And I'm not trying to discount or discontinue or whatever they're saying is what they've heard. They very well put information, but I just want to clarify what I've heard, and I can tell you whether or not there's any supporting information to support the rumor. So yesterday, a channel put out a video that said that Jana Duggar has moved out and has been moved out since April, and apparently had built a house and was living, like, I don't even know, 30 minutes away from the Duggars. Listen, I didn't watch the video. That was just what I was told. Okay. So what I went ahead and did was you guys all started flooding my inbox. Like, is this true, Katie? Is it true? Is this true? What's going on with Jana? So what I did was I reached out to my sources that have connections around the Duggars, and I tried to feel out what the temperature is with Jana at the moment. Then what if there were any supporting records that could like substantiate the rumor that she built a house. And I also wanted to just verify if there was any records that could support really any of it. So here's what I found out. I reached out to my source that is really solid, that knows a lot of what's going on around the Duggars. And I asked them point blank, like, have you heard about Jana moving out? And this week, these were the same people that I reached out to when I asked if Joe and Kendra had a baby, because that was another rumor that got started. And they said no. So Joe and Kendra did not have another baby. They didn't have a fourth child. There was a picture that was floating around on Reddit, but that wasn't their baby. When it comes to this situation, apparently the YouTuber said that they didn't check any records. So that's obviously, you guys know that I will check records. No shade if someone doesn't want to cover, doesn't want to check, that's totally fine. They have to do with whatever is comfortable with them. So when I reached out to my source, they basically told me that they have not heard anything of the sort. And I said, do you think it's something that could have been like under the radar that nobody would know about? And they said, absolutely not. Basically, the way that they came to me was that, you know, the Duggars have kept some things really hush hush, but if Jana were to move out, it would be humongous news. They said, like, this would not be something that could be hidden. They would not be able to keep a secret like this, because in this world, for a daughter to move out without permission or without like being married is just not heard of. In order for women to leave their houses, they either have to get married or they have to leave the group. So women that do want to leave their fathers will leave the IBLP and they leave fundamentalism. So they have to leave their belief system. Jana has not left her belief system. She is still very much in the world of the IBLP, and she still goes to church with all of the Duggars. She's still in that world. So she hasn't left the IBLP. She's not dating anyone. And she definitely, there was no supporting records. And what the source said was, you know, we would know, we would hear about it. This is not a huge community. And there just wasn't anything that they had heard. And they said that they just don't see Jim Bob ever signing off on that. Sad, right? There's girls that I've learned about in this area who had to basically escape from their parents' houses. So there was a couple of girls that were in their late 20s that wanted to leave, and they had to like coordinate with their other siblings in order to get out of the house and set up like a safe house for them to go to. It is not easy for these women to leave. And so I just want to caveat that when I explain to you the next steps. So they said there's no way that this would happen and her still be in the IBLP, not to mention they would know because everyone is two degrees of separation, even like 1 degree. It's not a huge community. So nothing's been spoken about. There's no rumblings. There's no rumors on that side. I reached out to another source who is like friends with the Duggar siblings. They haven't heard a thing. I reached out to another source who recently saw the Duggars not long ago. They hadn't heard anything. So 3 different people don't believe this to be true. I'm still working on them to confirm if they can provide me any more insight. So then what I did was I went to check the property records in the area, and I wanted to verify if Jana owned anything. I wanted to know if her businesses owned anything. I wanted to know if there was any new LLCs that had been opened in Jana's names, any houses that have been built or purchased by the Duggars or the Duggar sons, and any of the businesses that they own, or any transactions that had gone to a friend of Jana's or the like, or an LLC connected to the Duggars that was a home. I found nothing. Okay. So Jana did own a piece of property in March. She owned a piece of property of commercial. It was what her Arbor Acres company was going to be. And Jana's business is not in business anymore. So her website is down. She is not actively marketing in this business. She's not actively, like, she was supposed to start a shop. She closed that down. Over the summer, Jana has been helping out with people's kids. So she traveled with Jessa and Ben when they went to the Southern Baptist Conference. She has been traveling with her brothers, Jason and James, who live at home. She spends a lot of time with her brothers, Jason and James, who live at home. When Josh was sentenced in May, she was still living at home, and that was the end of May. She was very much living at home in April while she was planning Jeremiah's wedding and putting things together. There was photographs of her on her Instagram from March. She was working at the church house that they rehabbed. So it's that old schoolhouse that a couple years ago they rehabbed. That's actually a church that they've converted. They've converted it into a church. It's called Thomas Lake Bible Church, I think, something like that. So she was working there, and that's like literally down the street from the Duggars house. So I went into both counties. She sold her commercial records property in March. There was no transfers of property in Jana's name. There's no companies. So the business that she owns, Arbor Acres LLC, they own no property now. The business website is down. And then I checked Jason's companies, Jeremiah's companies, Jed's companies, and
Okay, now notice here where she has to make sure, okay, because I think it was Tough Topic that put the video out that she did not like that said that Jana moved out, because Jana did move out. And now Jana did move on some property on the Duggars land. However, the truth of the matter is that if I was Jana, I would do the same thing, because their parents literally own, like, I don't even know how much, maybe 100 acres of land or something there. And several of the kids, even the married kids, have have built a house on the land, or either, I know that John David and Abby, they had a mobile home there. I don't know if they're still living that and that. But like, what is wrong with that? Because like literally, and Tough Topic even came back and made another video, and I think it was in response to this. And basically, she said she stands by what she said, because regardless if Jana moved across the back of the property, in her own tiny house or whatever, that is great. I would so do that if I was her. If I was like, if my parents had land, you know what I'm saying, and it was big enough for me to put a house on, and I didn't have to pay, you know what I'm saying, I'm sure she probably already has saved some money, and she's probably already paid cash for what tiny home she built or whatever she did. These cabin to house conversions, like my husband and I have even talked about doing that ourselves for like retirement, possibly, you know, and because we got some land, that's a little bit upstate, kind of more in the mountain areas. And so, like, after our youngest child, who graduates this year, gets married or whatever and moves out, like literally, we might do that, because, we could probably pay cash for it and not have any house payment. Why wouldn't we? And Jana is young. I would so be doing that, because she's got her whole family there to help her if she needs anything. And these days, it's dangerous for women to live alone. I'm just going to be honest with you. It is. Especially, people who don't like guns or don't want to, deal with guns. I mean, you really don't. How are you going to protect yourself? I'm just saying, it is, if it were me, even if I had children, I would so build a tiny home or a mobile home or something on my parents' property if they owned all that land. I mean, not only that, think about this, of all the money she's saving. Literally, Jana is saving so much money that she's probably going to be able to pay cash for a house when she buys one away from home. And she goes to her parents' house. So what? I'm just saying, it's like Katie Joy cannot stand it. Cannot stand it when these girls actually do something good, or actually prove her wrong. That's the thing. That's why she's being so snarky now, because she is wrong. She says that she has sources. Well, her sources told her nothing, absolutely nothing. They did not tell her when Jana moved out. They did not tell her anything about all that. So the sources that she says she has, they seem to be um, playing her. If there are any sources other than what are in her head. I'm sorry, my kittens are whining because it's getting a little bit late. They probably want to go to bed. um, but and I'm also eating supper. I'm sorry, it's a late night. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of this. It's just that she keeps just having to put those digs in there, and she sat there and said her sources told her. Sorry, I'm eating. Told her Jenna didn't move out. No way.
Josiah companies, and I went as far as to check Austin for and Dwayne companies. So there's a lot of builders in the family. So let's just check all of them, and there's
Stalk much? I mean, seriously, this woman. Okay, I took psychology in college. That was my major. I'm just gonna say, this woman has a definite personality disorder, and she scares me. Like, I'm not scared of her, but like for the Duggars, I'm saying, like, this woman is diabolical, and she literally. I'm gonna show you in a minute the stuff that she has got on. It is insane. It is insanity. It really is. She needs some help. Her husband or somebody needs to try to get this woman some help. There is something wrong in her head.
it's literally nothing. So they build Dwayne Swanson and Austin and Jed and Jason and Josiah. They're all building in this area called Bella Vista. It's sort of like there's a lot of construction happening right there, and it's like in the Ozarks, and it's super, super pretty, and there's a lot of bike trails, and so it's like kind of up and coming in terms of like they have a lot of starter homes. They build a lot of starter homes, and it's just a nice like area, okay, that has cheap land to build, and it's expanding.
Okay, she said cheap land, starter homes, stuff like that. I mean, she just keeps having to take these digs.
And so that's where they're building, and there was nothing. So everything that they build is put back on the market. And typically what I noticed for Dwayne Swanson's company is he buys the lot
Pretty
from
nice
the
starter
person
home.
that owns the property, builds the house for them, and then transfers the deed back to them when he's done with the sale. That's kind of what Jason does, Josiah,
that's normal. A lot of people do
and
that.
Austin. So no, not one of their companies has sold a home to a Duggar affiliate that would hold a property in like a trust. So the Duggar.
You see how she digs? She looked under every single Duggar's name and the husband's. That is creepy. That is just so creepy. Wow. I mean, like, literally. I can see her on a Lifetime movie for some crazy stuff.
Duggars have a trust where they hold all of their properties. None have been purchased recently. In fact, Jim Bob and Michelle have been selling some of their property more often than not. They haven't picked up a lot of property. Jim Bob bought a piece of property, a trailer through a LLC that he set up for Jackson.
She's just laughing again when she did trailer like it's funny.
That Jana would live in that home, and it's in
Why not?
Jackson's name. It is like not very far from the Duggars' house, but it's also they purchased it in like March or April, and there was a home on the property, and they're trying to say that this house was just built and they've been there since. So that doesn't wash either. And the property that they purchased nearby is just kind of close to the dump. They live by the dump. I know. So
they live by the dump. I mean, like literally, she is so snarky. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, who does that? Like, why can't you be happy for people, especially if you call yourself an advocate for SA survivors, which several of these girls have been. But you have, Katie Joy acts like she loves Josh. I mean, she literally does. I think she's got it for him. And then, she was talking about some of them were building houses and whatever, doing the house flips or whatever. That's common. This girl, I'm telling you, I mean, she's a grown woman and she acts like she's a child. Like, this looks like stuff that like kids would do. And she just like, I don't know what her problem is. If she's jealous, she wish she had a big family. I don't know what her problem is, but there is something seriously wrong.
At all. Now, someone was saying that lives in Springdale that there was like someone building a house on the Duggars property or adjacent properties. So they figured that could be Jana's house. So then I did an aerial view of the property lines.
That face, like, then I did an aerial view. Oh my gosh.
For the Duggars property, and they actually don't own. So there's like this big pond that's right next to them. They don't own that property. They don't own the property that goes down the road of Arbor Acres. Their property line kind of like is not very far off from where their house is, and then it goes the other direction. So they don't. And then they have that house that Joe and Kendra live in, the log cabin. But there's nothing else. There's no new construction on the Duggar property. There's no permit.
Okay, do you see what I'm saying? She hates this because it's true. Jana did really move out. And she might have moved in a converted, tiny house, shed to whatever. Those are really cute. Like I said, I would be willing to do that myself. And let's see. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and take her off of there because I'm not going to make you have to listen to her anymore on this. So I'm going to stop that screen and excuse me, I have a little bit of I think it's a change of the weather. We literally went from like 40 degrees, to today it was like almost 80 degrees here. So it's just been crazy all over the place weather. And I'm pulling up Instagram right now. So, y'all, this is just insanity. It is. I don't understand. I'm glad I don't understand. But, okay. So, here we have Ginger and Jeremy have been trying to free the kids. I haven't even listened to that yet. Since I made that other video that has been put up, I believe. This is the one I want you to hear. Look at this face, y'all. That face looks like she is out in a cow field standing on a patty or something. And it is just like impermeating. It's like going up in her nose or something. Like, yeah. She looks like she smells something really bad.
53 years old and you're in a patriarchal cult and your dad thinks that he's the headship of you and you're incapable of actually moving out. Well, in some groups like the IBLP and some of their more conservative offshoots like the IFB, the dads are so arrogant and controlling that they...
Speaking of arrogant and controlling,
they believe their daughters cannot survive in this world. So a common tactic is for the men to allow the girls to live in tiny sheds on the property.
Okay, now all of a sudden, there's this big, huge story about how the fathers allowed the daughters to live in sheds on the property. Like this big story. She is a liar. She is of her father, who was a liar from the beginning, her father, the devil, because I'm just telling you, she's doing the devil's work. She really is. She is constantly stirring up something. She said, you saw just a minute ago, she said her sources told her that Jana did not move out. And now you saw her face in the beginning of this video. She hates the fact that actually Jana did move out. So now she's got to discount the fact that Jana is living on the Duggars property somewhere. And I'm just saying, Jana, if you listen to this somehow, I mean, get it, girl. Save up that money. And then you can pay cash for a house later. And honestly, I would totally like build a house on my parents' land. I mean, whatever size house I wanted, even after, if I did want to get married one day. And you know what? This is what I'm saying. It's like she's such a hypocrite. Katie Joy is such a hypocrite. She points her fingers at other people, you know, calls them out like the way she was doing in that last video, you know, saying that, oh, that house would fall apart if they wouldn't let. No, Jim Bob would not sign off on that, remember? Okay. So now she's trying to say, oh, well, what do you do when you're 33 and you belong to a cult and blah, 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 blah. Come on now. Seriously? She just said in the other video that the log cabin, you know, that there were people living in that are married, mind you, and they're living on the property. And also John David, I think, lived in a mobile home with Abby. I think it was on the property, but it might not have been. But they're married. And listen, more power to them. If my parents owned a lot of land, I'm just saying, I would save that money. It cost a lot of money to live these days. Rent that was $800 2 years ago is now $1,600 a month where we live, okay, in the South. And, you know, that's cheap rent, I'm sure, to a lot of people, but not when you're used to paying half of that. So I said, go, Jana. Good for you. And I love shed to house conversions, and I hope you show it because I know that yours is probably so cute, because Jana has really good taste. Like, she helps all of her sisters with interior design. She has an eye for that. And I know Jess's house is absolutely gorgeous. And see, this is the thing. This is the same thing that happened with Jessa. See, Jessa didn't say anything, you know, on social media or anything until after that house had actually, they'd already gotten it. They'd started doing demolition. And because they lived in the other house that was in, you know, down around from the big house that also her brother and sister-in-law lived in before that. And it was a very nice house, beautiful house. I love that house. You know, but they have a growing family, so they need a bigger house. And then, you know, Katie Joy is like so blindsided because she had no clue this was happening until Jessa dropped that video. And I just thought that was so great. I mean, it caught her so off guard. And boy, she went after Jessa like with both, like, I mean, just like with everything she's got, like with dual engines, because when Jessa got the native ad or whatever, she had that removed from her. Now, again, she's an advocate supposedly for SA victims. Jessa is a survivor. I don't say she's a victim. Katie Joy's a victim because she is always whining, wah, 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 about every little thing in her life. And it's so terrible for her. But yet, she calls out Jessa on every single little tiny thing she does, micro looks at everything. Like, Jessa is a fantastic mother. Like, maybe Katie Joy ought to watch Jessa's videos and find out how to be a mother to just one child. Jessa has 4, and she's younger than you. And Jessa is beautiful. And I think that's another thing. These girls are gorgeous. They really are. They're beautiful, beautiful girls. And, well, let's just say Katie Joy's not pretty on the inside. And usually what's on the inside reflects on the outside. All right.
Or RVs, or they might get them a single wide and stick it in the yard. But it still means that daughter is under the control of the dad, because
does it?
I heard a story once of a dad arguing.
Oh, now here's a story that she heard once of one daughter Now, before it was
with his daughter saying, "You can't move out. You are my property. I am your headship." That girl ran away.
really, I wonder if that's the same source that told you that Jana didn't move out and that Jessa didn't buy a new house. I wonder if those are the same sources, huh?
That girl was stalked by her dad traveling more than a state to try to find her, to bring her back home, because dad believed that this girl, who is 25 years old, was still his property. I'm the headship. So Jana moving to a house on the back of the property, whether it's a tiny house or not, is not freedom.
It's not?
The more you know.
Look at that face. Did you see that? She hates it because she was wrong once again. It shows that she has no sources. So, just saying, it shows that she doesn't know anything. And I'm just going to show you real quick. We're not going to watch her anymore because I don't want to hear it. I'm trying to eat. It makes me nauseous. So everything's about the Duggars or the Browns. Okay, so here you got Duggars, Duggar, and that face kills me. Duggar. Duggar. You know she's going to be really jumping on Ginger. Duggar. I mean, this is just insanity. This woman is wackadoodle and she needs some help. Look, there are 7,222 posts. Guarantee you, if you would go back and look at those posts, add up how many of them are about the Duggars, percentage-wise. I bet it would be scary. Well, I guess I'm going to go because it's getting late. It's already 10:34. And this has been long enough because that's just, who wants to be exposed to that constantly? I just don't know. I don't know what's wrong with her. I really don't. She needs some help, though. Her husband needs to get her some psychological help because, in my opinion, she has got some serious mental disorders. She's got a personality disorder. And she has some kind of an obsessive compulsive disorder because I'm telling you, for her to put in this much work, literally for the last 5 months, just to see if Jana bought a house, and then she's got to go back because her sources are in her head, obviously, and that's where she's getting them from. She's got to go back and make that snarky video that I just showed you on Instagram saying that she's under Jim Bob's control because she's still on the property. Well, actually, I think it's pretty smart because if your parents own property and they let you put something on it and you don't have to pay rent or you don't have to, buy a house less than what you might want. And also, let's face it, she's a single girl. I mean, I would rather live on my parents' property for safety reasons as well. I mean, she's got brothers on that property that could, protect her. And let's face it. If Katie Joy, you saw how hard she looked for where Jana was living. Think about this. Okay, Jessa is a single female. There's a lot of crazy people out there, okay? And a lot of people that Katie Joy spends her every day, 24/7, literally coming after this family, okay? She doxed Jessa where she lives and could possibly put her children at harm by doing that because we don't know. The way she talks about them, and there could be people, obviously, they're not right if they listen to her all the time and listen and agree with what she says. And they don't even do their own homework to see that she's lying or doesn't know her own facts. So they're it's almost like the cult of Katie Joy. I've heard a couple of other YouTube creators like Nikki38. She has said that, and we've both mentioned that. I've heard of Charlotte. She's mentioned that. It's like there's a cult, and Katie Joy is like the cult leader. She really is. It's like she tries to brainwash people against the Duggars because they are fundamentalist Christians. So literally, she has She put it on there herself. Of what a fundamentalist Christian is. Not a cult. A cult and a fundamentalist Christian are two totally different things. And I watched that earlier, and this might be a different Instagram. Like, I'm not familiar. She must have a lot of them, is all I can say. Because the lady was explaining that fundamental Christian basically just means that you believe that the Word of God is the the inspired Word of God, and that it's true, and you take it literal. Like, you believe it's all true, and that every bit of it is God inspired and is the ultimate truth. And the way that it is, people who are not Christians really can't understand the Bible. Like, I was 27 before I ever read the Bible, really. I tried like once or twice before, and I really didn't understand it, So I'm not judging Katie Joy because she's lost as a goose in a snowstorm, but it's her snarkiness and her rudeness and her bullying of the Duggars that I'm standing up for them, because I know that Jana is very quiet. She doesn't like come out, and like Justice, she'll take up for herself some, but you have to remember, I mean, every single thing they do is under the public eye and is scrutinized. And then you have people like this. Like, literally, I think Satan himself has sent this woman as a spawn to completely just constantly come after the Duggars and these girls. I mean, I don't understand why, if you say that, you are an advocate for people leaving cults, which this is not a cult, by the way. It's just Christians. They're Baptist, okay? They're Baptist. And they believe that the Word of God is inspired. The Bible is the inspired Word of God. It is the final authority, and it is the Word of God. So, like, just because you don't believe that, Katie Joy, doesn't give you the right to spread lies, gossip, rumors, contact members of the family. She literally admitted on her Instagram, I saw earlier, that she reached out to many of the family members. She said a lot of them have blocked her, which I would block her also. She is disturbed. And supposedly she was making a joke saying that they told her that Jana had moved on the property or whatever, and that she'd like been gone like 2 years or whatever. And then she was like, really? Because CPS called a year ago. He was like, oh, well, I don't know how long it's been. I mean, think about how many, like, there's 20 kids. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he probably doesn't like sit there and count up how many months. Like, he probably didn't like write down the day Jana moved out. And she's probably been working on the house, I'm sure, that long. And, so that might be what he's thinking about. But my thing is this: he was taking up for his sister, and he didn't give her any information at all. And, like, I don't blame him, because anybody that would give you information, I would have to say that I would have to worry about them, especially if they're in the Duggar family or friends of the Duggars. Because let me tell you something. If Jana moved away from that house, she would find out about it. And the next minute, literally, there's no telling you who would be outside of her house. Like I said, she's a single girl. She's saving a lot of money where she's at. And I'm sure that it's a wonderful place, beautiful. And I think she's jealous. I really think she's jealous. It's sad because I don't know why she's jealous. She could have a good life, but she chooses to be hateful and to continuously come after this family. And it's to the point now that it's getting alarming. Seriously, like, somebody might need to do a welfare check on her or something, because this is not healthy. This level of, like, fandom. Like, she can say that she doesn't like them or she hates them, but let me tell you something. There's something else going on, because I'll tell you something right now. Even this is taking up too much of my time. And because I already did the hour-long video before and I couldn't put it on and, move it over from StreamYard. So I went live about this, and a lot of the stuff is having to be left out. But just the fact that I wanted to show that this woman is a liar. She does not have any sources that are willing to give her any kind of actual real wealth of information or any information of value. They're not going to trust the devil. They're just not going to. You don't believe the devil even when he's telling the truth, because he's always going to twist it. And that's exactly what Katie Joy does. She twists everything. She will get a sliver of truth and will twist it and twist it and twist it. Honestly, like, she should get a job making Twizzlers or something. I don't know. That woman, she really gets under my skin, but I'm going to try to pray for her. I know she's lost as a goose in a snowstorm. I know she has no direction. She went to church for a couple years. She admitted she liked it. She had a lot of help, I think, with her son. They helped her a lot. And I think that her husband, I know he's a pagan, and I think that he probably did not like it. And then probably somebody made her mad or didn't do something, or they everybody knows those people at church that, that they expect things to go their way, and they try to get things stirred up in the church. And then the pastor might have even asked her to leave. And let me tell you something, honey, that's the opposite of a cult, because a cult is like Scientology, where they literally gaslight you and hunt you down if you leave. Like the FDLS, you need to look that up, about Warren Jeffs. That's a cult. Like, I mean, if you want, look, call me up. If you ever see this video, I'll be happy to inform you on what is an actual cult and what is just actually people who have faith. There are cults, and then there are people who just are Christian. Okay. And the Bible is the way they live. Okay. I am one of those people. I am a Christian. I was not brainwashed. I was not raised in a household that was a Christian home. It was a very worldly house. So how can you say that somebody is only in church because they're brainwashed or whatever, or they've been raised like that and they don't know any better? The funny thing is, at 27, I started going to church. I started reading the Bible, and my mom started going with me. I led my mom to go to church, and then my dad. So listen, like I said, I can't judge you or anything like that, because you're of your father, the devil, literally, and you're doing your father's business, and you're trying to cause chaos and confusion wherever you go. And I'm just going to tell you that there are Christians like me that will not take it. They will stand up to you, and I will stand up to you. I have nothing to be afraid of. I have a I've never been in trouble. I've raised 4 children. I've been married over 30 something years. Been with my husband. Yeah. My life is fairly boring, but that's good. I love boring. And, I usually don't come after people or like out people or anything like that, but I am tired, sick and tired of people bashing Christians. And I am surely tired of this woman coming after the Duggars. And when she did what she did to Jessa with Native, who is supposed to be an all-inclusive company, and I made sure to write that company and let them know that I was actually going to try their product, because I had been using Lumi, which is very, I don't know. I would rather go to the store and be able to buy it. Okay. And so Lumi, you have to order online, which Native you can too. But the smells. I wanted to try the different smells, and I literally was going to go the very, very next day after I watched that, and then I found out that, or a couple days. I mean, like I knew the next time I went to the store, I was going to get some of that Native. I think Target carried it, so I was going to get some. And when I found out that they dropped her because Katie Joy called them up and said that she had Christian beliefs that don't add up and don't coincide or whatever with what their beliefs are, which my thing is this: look, I don't have any problem with gay people coming to my church. I've got gay friends. And I have grown up around gay people my whole life. One of my grandchildren, listen, I have no problem with that. My problem is when people turn around and point their finger at me, because I believe that you show people love, and that is how you show them the love of Christ. And honestly, I would do that with Katie. I really would. But this stuff that she's doing, she has an antichrist spirit, like an antichrist spirit about her. And literally, she just wants to destroy this family. Like it's not already gone through enough with Josh going to prison and everything like that. I think this family's had enough, and I don't think that they need you to continuously go after them continuously over and over and over, and you need to get another hobby. And anybody that stayed to watch this for the 46 minutes I've been on here, I just want to say thank you. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. And seriously, don't just believe what that woman says. I'm sorry. Anything she says, go and do your own checking. Okay? Because I think we can see just with this one video on Instagram from 5 months ago, on YouTube, and then one Instagram video that she just released because she found out about Jessa actually did move out. And now she has mud on her face and she feels stupid. So anyway, I just wanted to straighten out a little bit of truth there and shout out the Tough Topic because, even though I don't agree with everything you say, at least you stood by what you said because you knew the girl, you knew she moved out. And you also knew that was smart because she's not spending a bunch of money and she's being able to save that cash, which is a smart thing to do, especially in these times we're living in right now. Things are so uncertain. So anyway, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you later. I've got a thing coming up that I'm doing called the Elvis Project. Thought I could get it out faster, but it's going to take a little longer than I thought. So that's going to be coming up in February, the end of February, the 28th, I believe I put it on there. But I've got a lot of research, a lot more than I thought I was going to have to do because he was 7. I was 7 when he passed away allegedly. And so, it's kind of like everybody says they remember what happened the day that JFK got shot. Well, I remember the day that Elvis died, just like that. And it's, I really haven't thought about it much since then. And only after Lisa Marie passed away that I kind of went back and looked into some stuff. And then anyway, so it's a big, deep rabbit hole. So, but I'm going to get into all that. And so subscribe and hit the bell so that you can hit the notification for that so that you won't miss it because I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into that. So just want to say good night. And I thank you for joining me. And stick up for somebody. Stick up for people, especially those that don't stand up for themselves because they're in the public eye and they feel like they're going to get backlash from it because these people are just trying to live their own life. They don't bother anybody. Josh is in prison. They really do, just need to be left alone. For goodness sake, they've got 20 children, one went a little bit astray. The rest of them seem to have a pretty good head on the shoulder. They seem to have a good, idea of that when you leave, your mom and your dad, you cleave to your husband. That's the way you do it with the Bible. See, now I don't know how you do it, Katie Joy, but these people, they go by the Bible like I do. So when our children get married and they leave their mother and their father, both men and women do the same thing, and it says they cleave to their spouse. So basically at that time, then you and your spouse decide what kind of things you're going to implement in your home with your children. You no longer have to go by the rules of your parents' home anymore. But as long as you live under your parents' roof, not on their property, but under their roof, you still have to go by their rules. That's just the way it is. Look, my older kids are in their 30s. But look, if they come here and stay, they know there's rules and guidelines that we have for our home. We still have one child that's graduating this year, and those rules are in place. And if you come here, I don't care how old you are, that is the way it's going to be, because this is our home that we pay for. Now, if they have their own home, they can go and do as they please in their own home. But if they stay over here with me, they're going to have to act like we say. So that's just the way it is. And I'm going to let it go with that and tell you just to listen wisely. Pick who you listen to very wisely. If you find that they find pleasure in the misfortune of others or tragedy, or they're always looking for tragedy or trauma or drama or trying to stir up drama, just stay clear of that, because there's enough of that in this world. We need to just love one another, and we don't need to pick out every single little flaw that somebody has. And like I said, the only reason I'm up here even doing this video right now is because of the way that she has come after the Duggar family mainly. All right. Well, I love you guys. Y'all have a great night. Bye.